Hi all, welcome to today's session on Saucelabs. In this video, we are going to understand what Saucelabs can do for us and see how do we integrate Saucelabs with our existing Selenium, Maven and Java based automation projects. We are also going to generate a Saucelab access key and understand the process of generating the WebDriver capabilities using the Saucelabs platform configurator. And we're also going to take a look at some code and run our Saucelab first test case. At the end, I'm going to give you the GitHub link where I have uploaded my Saucelab configuration, which is what being demoed in the later part of this video. So just a quick introduction. Saucelabs is a cloud-based automation platform that provides instant access to thousands of desktops, thousands of browser OS and mobile configurations to run automation. These configurations are generated using the Saucelabs platform configurator, and once we have the WebDriver capabilities defined, we're able to run automation across multiple devices, multiple browsers, platforms, and across multiple form factors. One of the good thing about Saucelabs is that it gives us a free trial of 14 days with instant access to 900 plus combination of a desktop browser and operating system. It also gives 100 minutes of automated testing with the free trial. One of the benefits of using Saucelabs is that we don't really have to maintain our test infrastructure, but everything is maintained in the Saucelabs cloud. All we have to do is pay for the Saucelab subscription, create a WebDriver configuration, and run our automation across the Saucelab cloud platform. One of the main benefits of doing so is that Saucelabs keeps a recording of the video as the tests are being executed, and which I think is really useful because at a later point of time, if you really want to go back to your execution and take a look of how your automation went through, or if something has failed, or if something is not looking good to you, you can always do that. So these are some of the resources. That's the GitHub link where I have uploaded the sample project for integration with Saucelabs, and we're also going to take a look at Saucelabs platform configurator. And let's start with the demo. So in today's demo, I'm going to quickly show you how you can sign up to Saucelabs. So you can go into the Saucelabs link and click on try it for free if you have not already signed up yet. It is a very simple, straightforward process. You need to just fill out the form and click on next, and once you do that, you would receive an email in your inbox asking you to verify your Saucelabs account. And once you click on the link, your account is ready and it's up and running. And as soon as you do that, you have now activated your 14-day free trial to Saucelabs, and you have access to all the trial benefits that Saucelabs gives us. Right? Looks good. Now, let me try to log in into my Saucelabs account. Giving in my Saucelabs ID and password. All right. So once I sign in, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the interface here. This is a Saucelabs interface, and this is a section where you can take a look at your automation test cases or automation builds that you run across. And this is your analytics tab that shows you your trends and history as to how many test cases were run, how many were passing, and how many were failing, and how many were throwing interruption and ending abruptly, and so on and so forth. And when I sign in, I can quickly go to my account, and let me go to user settings. Now, once I go to user settings, I have an access key here. Now, what is an access key? Access key is an alphanumeric key that is generated to you by Saucelabs, and we need to give the access key every time we make a connection to the Saucelabs Cloud Browser instance. So as you can see, I already have a access key that is generated by Saucelabs, and if I want to regenerate my access key, I can do that by clicking here, right? Now let's go back to the Saucelabs platform configurator. So this is our Saucelabs platform configurator, essentially a guide that has been given to us by Saucelabs. So using the platform configurator, we are able to define our WebDriver capabilities for many different browsers, browser versions, platforms, OS across your devices such as Android or iOS, and everything that Saucelabs supports for running your automation test cases. You are able to define capabilities for all of those possible combinations using this platform configurator. For instance, if I have to run my automation on a desktop, I can simply click on the Selenium WebDriver, and I can select if I want to run on a Mac or on a PC. I would go with Mac, and I want to run on the latest version of Mac, Catalina. And my browser is going to be, I want to pick Safari, and here we have the WebDriver capabilities for running your automation test case on a Mac device, on a Mac platform, on a Mac desktop with Mac OS as Catalina and Safari browser version as 13.0. Fair enough. Now, I can also run my automation across iOS or Android devices. Now, if I want to run on my iOS or Android device, obviously my WebDriver capabilities are different. I can generate the capabilities to run on an iOS device by clicking on APM. So this is APM, and I can select on any of these multiple options that has given to me by Saucelabs for iOS or Android, right? Now, here's a pro tip. If you are running the Saucelabs on a trial version, you only got access to emulators or simulators. You don't really get access to real devices, because real devices require you to pay, and you do really need to pay for a subscription to get access to the real devices. But these simulators or emulators are equally good enough for us to run automation. They behave exactly like real devices, and we don't really need to run automation on a real device unless it is really required. And except for the reason we are running it on a real device, emulators and simulators give you the same kind of benefit or the same kind of feel. Now, if I want to run on my iPhone XS simulator, I can click on iPhone XS simulator. I can select the latest iOS. I'm going to select the latest version of APM, and this is for my web testing. And if I have to do an app testing, the configuration is different. But for now, we're only going to understand the web piece of it. So once I click on that, I already have my WebDriver capability that has been generated based on the options that I pick. The same goes for your Android emulator. You can pick a combination that you would like of Android 9.0, maybe this version of APM, and then you're good to go. So this is a combination. This page lets you pick the combination for you to run your automation across multiple devices, form factors, multiple across cross-platform and multi-browser. So once you have the configuration generated here, you're good to go. All you have to do is take this configuration, plug it in your automation configuration to launch your WebDriver instance, and that should take care of the connection, establishing the connection between your automation session and the Saucelabs cloud platform. Once you have the session created, and obviously your automation execution just is followed as a process. So let me go ahead and show you the project that I have been doing. So if we closely take a look at the iPhone XS, right? So this configuration that I have, or let me go back and pick iPhone. iPhone XS, OS is 13, version is 16. So this configuration is what I have plugged in as a property file in my automation repository, and I'm calling this file as iPhone XS.properties. Now, you can take a look, you can pause the video, feel free to, if you would like. You can try to understand how these capabilities are being translated into a properties file that can be saved under your automation project here. And once you are done with that, I want to quickly discuss about the WebDriver URL. Now, remember the access key that we were taking a look at from our previous screen? This is the access key. So you have to use your access key and you have to append your user ID in front of it and create your WebDriver URL as shown here. Right? So once you have property file, so if you look at my repo, I have created multiple property files for handling my automation runs across multiple platforms. This is my property file to run automation on Saucelabs on a Chrome and on a Windows platform, and this is for iPhone. This is to run automation on my local in case. This is for Safari OS, Mac OS, and this is for the Samsung S9 Galaxy device. Now, once you have done that, all you have to do is create your Maven Surefire plugin, and in the configuration we define the path to the property files, and we tell the Maven project that we are going to load these property files as system property files in the configuration. We can declare that by doing by appending this code, this little snippet under Maven Surefire plugin configuration. Once you have that, I've just created a small variable on the top. I'm calling it as a caps. So caps is nothing but essentially whatever is a property that I would want to run my automation against is what I would place here. So for instance, if I want to run my automation on local, I would just do local Chrome, and I would have to just trigger my automation, and this local Chrome is sent here, and it is loading the local Chrome.properties from the same directory that is given here. Now, one thing that is very important is once you have your automation triggered, we all know what hooks is. Hooks is nothing but kind of a class file that we create that has your before test and after test annotations, and in the hooks code I have created the configuration to run across different platform or OS or devices, and I'm loading all the properties using the property file that I'm passing through the pom.xml. Now, if you see, there is a configuration for Chrome, there is configuration for Safari, for iPhone XS, and also for Samsung. So these capabilities are directly coming from the Saucelabs platform configurator, except that I am fetching the actual key value pair using the property file, using the property files. The reason why I'm doing that is because it makes code easy to read, easy readability, and easy to maintain. If one of these parameters change in the future, all I have to do is just open up any of the property files and change the values, and it's easy. It's kind of plug and play paradigm. Now, let me close everything else, and if I want to run my automation, I can do so by clicking on my JUnit test runner, which is under this directory. I can click on run. It will run my automation test cases because my pom.xml is pointing to my local Chrome. My automation is going to run on my local instance. So this is just a basic sample automation project. All we are trying to do is open up Amazon web page, try searching for something, and make sure we are on the results page. So the whole agenda of this session is to understand the Saucelabs configuration And let me go ahead and change my property file to run on Safari OS X. So let me go ahead. So for this, I'm going to trigger a Maven build. So we have terminal here. So I have my pom.xml here. I'm triggering my test cases using Maven clean test command. And as we can see, we have plugged in Saucelabs configuration under the property file. So the automation is going to run on my Saucelabs Cloud platform. And once we see this log statement right here, once we see this statement, the protocol handshake create session is successful. What it tells us is that we are able to launch the cloud browser successfully. So that's what this statement tells us. So we have two sessions. So because I have two examples, I'm going to run two test cases. So everything runs in parallel, and there are two sessions that were created, and my automation has run successfully and it has passed. Now let's go back to the Saucelabs screen, and we can go on builds. And to easily identify our test cases, I have also added the scenario name. So for every test that runs, I'm adding scenario name and also the feature name to easily identify the build and also the test cases within one single build. So if I go here and refresh my page, okay, so if you can see, the automation has run, and it has run on Mac OS and on Safari, and it was started about a minute ago. When we click on it, we are able to see the video of execution of our test case. So it has opened up the Safari browser, and it is searching for something, and it is on the results page and verifying that there are some results showing on the UI, right? Very easy. Now let's go ahead and quickly understand how we run the automation for the iPhone access. All I have to do is just do iPhone access, and everything else is already done. Just click on run. This time I'm doing it from my JUnit runner instead of the Maven build. So if I click on my builds, so also sometimes, just a pro tip, the Saucelabs UI can have a delay. So if you have run your test case, it may take few hours sometimes to show up on the UI, or sometimes it would just be instant. So as we can see, we are running our test case, and on an iPhone, when we click on it, we are able to take a look at the live video execution, right? So this is your iPhone simulator. One of the good things here is that this simulator has been spin up dynamically. So when the request comes to the Saucelabs, when we run the automation test case, only then this simulator has been spun up. Now we are waiting for the handshake session. Yeah, so as we can see, the protocol handshake is successful, which means our browser has instantiated. Now we have a browser, it has loaded the Amazon page, and it is going to search for something. and it is going to verify there are some results showing on the UI. Fair enough. Now let me also quickly demo running the automation on a Samsung device, Samsung Galaxy S9. All I have to do is just replace the name and the build is good to go. We have a clean test, and now the automation should run on a Samsung Android device on the S9. Right. So as we can see, this is our test case that we just triggered to run on an Android device. As we can see, the emulator has been spun up on demand, on the fly, and it has loaded the web page, amazon.com. As we can see, the page is still loading, and once it is done, all we're doing is search for something and make sure the results are showing up. Right. So we can also see that the protocol handshake create session is successful, and it is still running the second test case. So as we can see, it is using APM to run your web test cases in the background. Just an FYI, one of the main advantages of having APM versus Android, Android testing frameworks such as Espresso or even XCUI testing for iOS is that APM doesn't really require you to learn any Android coding or learn iOS coding. All you have to do is write the config, write your Selenium test cases as you will normally do for your desktop, except that XPaths might be different for mobile. All we have to do is take care of those XPaths which are different for mobile, write just your regular Java Selenium pure automation code, and APM translates that to running on a device either on Android or iOS. Versus if you're using Espresso, or if you're using Espresso framework or XCUI testing framework explicitly for iOS, you will have to learn either Android programming or the Swift programming for XCUI testing for iOS. With APM, we are able to just use our pure plain Java code in achieving that. So APM just makes our lives more easier. Alright, so that is it for today. So in today's session, we understood how to use Saucelabs, how to create our Saucelabs capabilities using the platform configurator, how to externalize them, put it in property files and read it through pom.xml and run Saucelabs automation across a few of the devices and form factors. Alright, and that concludes our session for today. I will also link the GitHub link. I'll also provide the GitHub link in the description of the video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. And thanks for watching, and hope you have a good rest of your day.